Hey, good morning, everybody. New week in the market, in the casino. Thank you for joining me. Lots of good stuff. So, I'm here to help you process the market to understand the possibilities of why the market can go up, how high it can go, what might stop it, what might force it down, what are big money players doing. How do we do that? We use Discord. We use what Trading View to look at the SPY, and then I give you some news stories. So, what am I paying attention to this week? Okay, a couple of very important topics. Number one, U.S. retail sales numbers coming out this week. We'll see how much pain the retail industry is in. Let's remember the consumer is strong, or are they? If retail sales come in weaker, we're going to understand that all that consumer credit card debt that they've been piling. And I mentioned this in November, and I said, don't worry about December. If my credit card says I owe 5,000, am I going to give a shit if I owe 8,000? I'm going to buy those Christmas gifts in December. And what do we see? We saw strong December numbers. So again, that's one thing I'm paying attention. Debt ceiling worries. So we understand that Biden is going to meet with the Republicans. I think it's scheduled for tomorrow. Supposedly there's going to be progress that's made. Understand, if we default on the debt, okay, our credit rating as a country is going to go down. Our stocks are going to go down. The cost to borrow money will go up. Defaulting on our debt is not a real possibility. However, we've got the House Speaker who can't look, McCarthy, who can't look weak, all right? He already has other Republicans saying you can't step down. Then you have Biden and the Democrats on one side, and then you have Mitch McConnell, who's probably going to be the voice of reason and help get a deal done, okay? Because he's more of a capitalist. He understands the market and the economic effects of possible defaults. So they are getting started a little earlier than I thought. 2 weeks till the deadline. I thought 1 week to the deadline, we'd see some serious movement. So understand, don't be surprised if volume is light in the market for Monday, for Tuesday. Now, what do we talk about when we have light volume? We talk about narrow trading range, and we talk about quick spikes upward or downward, so it makes sense that you have to secure a profit. Again, all the uncertainty revolving around the debt ceiling makes me say, okay, if the market's strong and I'm in calls, I'm going to take that spike and get out. Okay. And then I'm going to wait for it to come back. And then I'm going to get into the calls again. If I'm a bear, which I am, I'm going to wait for the market to spike. I'm going to get into puts, let it go down. I'm going to let it spike again, get into puts and go down. Now, I will mention, let's bring up the chart real quick, what we saw on Friday. Because people on Friday are like, oh, that was bullshit. That run ended day, whatever, this and that. Actually, if you look at the volume on Friday, there was some decent volume. We saw the bottom at 409. So if I go back to the 30-minute chart, understand 409's the bottom right here, going all the way back over a week. What did we see? We saw a drop. We saw a pickup. What do we come back here? 408. So 408, 409. What does that tell me? Okay, this is great because what are we trading in? And this is, where did I put it? 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 Here we go. It's called a board market. Board market. Do you guys get that? Not like board game, board like, dude, you're just killing me with this boredom, okay? What does that mean? It means we're trading a tight range. On the high side, what do we see? 2 weeks ago, Monday and what was it? Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 weeks ago, 414.82, 414.78 on the high side. On the low side, what do we see? 404 twice, okay? So 414 or 415 to 404. That's a big range, Matt. That's not a board market. Yes, it is, because if we look at what we've been trading for the past week, it's a much more narrow range. We're here on the bottom, 408. On the top, we're just about 413 and change. So 408, 413 and change. Tight, narrow range, a board market. When a market, we know a bull market is a market just every dip, they're buying the dips. Bear market, they're selling every spike. Oh, we're at a lower point. Board market, okay, range trading, lighter volume, which is why I tell you, in and out of a trade, secure profit, and then wait on the sidelines, do it again. Okay, yeah, I made a video yesterday. If you like what I have to say, please check it out, because understand 90% of day traders, you, me, him, her, your other friend, they lose money. 90% of trade, but everybody's doing these options trades to make money. So if 90% are consistently wrong, why do they keep trading? Okay, so you have to understand, you have to curtail your trading and your activity to be more profitable. Now, how do I do that? Okay, so I mentioned a number of strategies, and again, you can do it in the video, but what do I like to use? Trailing stop loss. I'm green. What don't I want to do? Go red. So how do I set a trailing stop loss? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about an imaginary trade, okay? I'm first going to buy an option contract for $1. Okay, doesn't matter what it is, put, call, doesn't matter. I'm going to pay $100 for the one contract. Before I get in, I say to myself, no, I need to underbid. The current ask and bid is $1, I'm about to pay $1. I say to myself, no, underbid by 11%. That's what I generally miss by. That's the first step in my trading. So now I get the contract for $89 because it goes blah, 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 blah. It goes down to 85. It's back to 95. I get it at $89. It's currently sitting at 90. So I'm not crushing it or anything like that. But I understand that I just saved 10% on the way in. Now my strategy for XYZ stock, whatever, is it to go up 50 cents. So I say to myself, what would my option be worth? Okay, my option would be worth about $1.25. So I go in and I put in my sale order for $1.25. But I have my trailing stop loss as it is going up. So now the option is $1.05. What do? Put in my trailing stop loss at 95 cents, 10% under. The option goes to $1.15. What am I going to do? Move up my trailing stop loss. Okay. So that's number one, having a strategy. Number two, you got to watch the video. I'm sure it'll link up after I do live here. What's important this week? Well, we've got a few Fed speakers on the agenda this week. How many to be precise? 14 Fed speakers, 5 days, not speakers every day, which means multiple speakers a few times a week. What are the busy days? Today, Monday, Bostic, Kashari, Barkin, Cook. Tuesday, Metzger, Bostic, Barr, Logan. Thursday, Jefferson, Barr, Logan again. Friday, Williams, Bowman, and Powell. So multiple speakers, multiple times, 14 in all. Definitely going to put some bearish pressure on the market. Now, here's an interesting fact. I took this from Stock MKT News. Apple is now has a larger market cap than all of the combined stocks in the Russell 2000. Okay, Russell 2000, mid-cap stocks. Mid-cap means mid-capitalized stocks. Apple, one company, greater valuation than all of the stocks in the Russell 2000. Debt ceiling talks for Tuesday. Okay, we talk about the SPY ranges. I brought up my chart. What's important? I always talk about the dark pool levels, and I'll pull up Discord shortly to show you those dark pool levels. But understand, dark pool trading is trading that happens off market. You're selling a house. You don't want to list it on MLS. You're doing an off-market listing. That's what the dark pool is. You have 1 million shares of Tesla. You want to sell at 172. If you put it on the market and you sell your 1 million shares, Tesla's going to go down to 150 because it's going to be unloaded. Supply versus demand. Lots of supply, same amount of demand, price goes down. So you sell it off market in order not to really affect the price. But that's how you get into stocks, out of stocks. So understand, over 50% of the trading activity happens in the dark pool, off market. So we don't know about it unless you're part of a Discord and you could look at the dark pool levels. So mentioning dark pool, mentioning the SPY, which is the S&P. SPY, $3.5 billion reported exchanged on the SPY at $411.59 on Friday. So understand, on Friday, when the SPY was sitting in the 411 range, $3.3 billion worth of the SPY was traded off market. So when it's traded, you obviously have a buyer and a seller. So it's not like, oh, that's bearish, oh, that's bullish. But understand, if the market's above that level, then you could assume it's a bullish trade, that someone was buying $3.3 billion worth of the SPY at 411.55. Additionally, $1.4 billion was reported at 412.24. Now, could be the same people that bought at 411.59 or unloading at 412.24. It could be someone else that has a similar thought process to the group that was buying at 411.59 or the group that was unloading. Let's say they unloaded at 411.59. It goes up to 412. Now somebody else says, I want to buy at 412. And you unloaded at 411.59. You'd say, shit, I'll unload at 412. You want to buy it at 413? I'll unload it there as well. So please pay attention to the dark pool levels. We'll bring the SPY up later, but right now I'm going to bring up the dark pool levels so you guys can know exactly what I am talking about. And again, if you have any questions, please ask them on the side. So let me just get up here. We can go over any stocks, anything like that you guys want to ask. All right, so what do I got up here? I've got my Discord up here, SOC Discord. First thing I do, and I already typed these out, I look at the dark pool level for the SPY. So again, we are sitting pre-market. We closed at 411.59. We're sitting at 412.49. We're as high as 413 and change. So I want to look for any ranges between 411 and 412 and see how close we can get to those or how close the dark pool levels are to tell me whether we're going to have support or resistance. Okay, we have the same levels that have been there for the last week. 412.76, huge dark pool level, lots of activity. 411.37, 410 basically flat, which is 409.99, 408, which is the level we hit maybe on the low side. So we're going from the high side, which would be, I don't know, just under 415, low side 408. This is the range that we are trading. I'm looking at the dark pool levels because if I'm a bear, then I'm going to look for these levels to reject and for us to go down to 408. If I am a bull, then I'm going to look for support at each of these levels. Oh, we go and touch 411. Boom, we bounce right back up to 412. Now, we saw that on Friday. And let me talk about my trades on Friday before we get into a little more Discord, because I made some super trades last week, and then I made some stupid trades last week. So my super trades last week, one of them, when Riot was spiking, Bitcoin was spiking, I was in Riot puts. What happened? Bitcoin dropped, Riot dropped. I got out a little too soon. I left hundreds of percents on the table. Same with my Intel puts, 100% on the table. Same with my US Steel put, 100% on the table. But let's get to Friday, okay? I still secured profit. I had a wonderful week, but there's so much money on the table. So Friday, I got involved with SPY calls, right? SPY calls, made a profit. Now, I'm a bear, so it's hard for me to get stuck in any call or bullish position because I'm like, oh, shit, the market's going down. I'm in SPY calls. What the hell am I doing? How did I confuse the situation like this? So I got SPY calls. I made my profit. I made like 50%, 60 to like 90. I'm out. Then I said, okay, it worked for me once. Let's do it again. So I got in SPY calls again. Now, this time, I was down 50%. I took a walk for lunch. The market was getting beaten up. I said, I want to get back into SPY calls. I want to average down on my position. But there were 411 calls. And I said, okay, even if the SPY rebounds, which I think it should later in the day on Friday, I don't want 411s. I'll get in the 410s. So I get in the 410s, spikes up, then it drops down. So I'm down 30% on the 410s. I'm down 50, 60% on the 411s. Again, my strategy was the SPY was going to rebound. I saw certain stocks that had support. So the market had a tough day on Friday, but it did rebound. If you look at, what was it? We finally rebounded. Let's go to the 5-minute here. Boom. About an hour to close. So about 3 p.m., it was all buying. There were 2 5-minute spells of outflow, but we still kept going higher. So what does that tell me? It tells me the market ended the week bullish. So I've been talking about this again, trading without emotion. I'm a bear, but going into today, I'm not bearish or bullish. I'm going to let the market tell me how to trade. When I look at the market, I look at volume. People say, what do you mean you look at volume? First of all, I look at volume like for support and resistance, meaning I look at these dark pool levels and I say, okay, 412.78 could act as support or resistance. And we do plus or minus 10, 20 cents. So if we see 412.50 and I see a volume spike and the SPY goes back up, I say to myself, that is support. If I see support at 412.50 and we revisit 412.50 5 or 10 minutes, because remember, there's always a double bottom, a double top, a triple bottom. It gives you opportunity to get in that trade. So that's what I do. All right, let me see what other news stories we have. We wanted to bring up Discord. So what else do I look at on Discord to start? I check out the SPY. I check out the Qs. Why? Because I mentioned the Qs had a ton of support at 325. So when we're opening up this morning closer to 326, I see where the Qs could possibly reject, 326.28. So even where we are now, if I was to say we're going to open right here at 412.41 on the market, what's going to happen? I'm going to say we're going to see 413.50. Okay. I don't know if we're going north when we hit 413.50, but I can tell you based on pre-market activity, screenshot it because we're going to 413.50 right out of the gate. That's just my opinion. Don't trade off it. Screenshot it though. Okay. So what else do we do? We bring back on Discord. I looked at the Qs. Then I will go down and I'll look at the top flow. Top flow for Friday. We saw Visa here. I ignore the VIX because that's more of a hedge. SPX is a hedge as well. So I can see, okay, the SPY is bearish, Qs are bearish, Apple, Tesla. Very small, though. I'm looking at the bullish stocks on the other side. First Solo, we saw make a mega move. Meta, Spot, be looking at those. Google, interesting, because I've heard Google people say, well, Google can pull back 4%. Well, even if Google pulls back 4%, understand it's still at a higher level. Google is 108, then it went to 110, 112, 114, 117, 118. Now people are like, wow, it's moved a little too quickly. It should pull back. Yeah, Google could pull back. But again, I'm not going to be playing Google because I've seen the strength from 108 to 117. If there is a pullback, I know there are people on the sidelines willing to buy. So what else we got? Okay, hit that like. Good morning, everybody. May the stocks be with us. Yes, yes, yes. Big retail, Walmart, Target has earnings this week. Any thoughts? Yeah, I mean, again, here's what people are looking at, okay? Um, People are going to be looking at the inventory levels for these retail stores and the retail sales. Do I have any prediction? I don't really follow the retail. I'm more tech related when I enter stocks. I do enter some Dow stocks. Sometimes they're more healthcare related. I don't really understand or do the retail industry because I'm like, okay, retail sales up, store over store up. Oh, inventories are higher. Down. Oh, margins are good. Oh, it goes up. So I mean, there's a lot more to the retail. Good morning, hola amigos. Okay. So we'll check out one stock because it got brought up. So FTNT, let me just get there. And then I'm going to talk about a couple other stocks on my watch list. As far as your watch list goes, I've said this before. Please make sure your watch list is 5, 8, 10 stocks. That might even be too many. Visited a friend this weekend. He showed me his watch list over 48 stocks. I told him cut it in a third and you're still going to have problems figuring it out and following along. Because when you have a watch list, I want you to know everything about these stocks on your watch list. Oh, it went up 3 points. Why did it go up? What's the range on that? What's likely to happen after it goes up 3 points? Okay. So Fortinet, what can I see? Volume's decent. It's lowering a little. I mean, it's really going to be dependent on what the market does. We're peaking again. So you're hitting that same peak. I mean, if you tell me we're on the way up, and then I would say, okay, it's definitely going to hit this peak and then watch out from there. Right now, we're at the peak. So it could easily break through to the upside. We've seen a number of stocks, Google being one of them, break out of their trends or their lines. However, I don't know this company well enough. Again, I would go over companies or stocks on my watch list. So what do I have? Well, the first one I have is Monday.com. Why? Because I saw options loading into them around 3 p.m. on Friday. I took some options myself. I was hearing whispers that if they beat, they're going to go over $150 a share. And where we pre-market, right at $150.80 all the way to $152 on my watch list. Next, UVXY. Why? Because it gauges future volatility. It's not like the VIX that gauges volatility. Today, it's gauging future volatility. So I just like to see, I mean, it can be used as a hedge. They were loading up as it went to $4.30. If it goes to $4.30, then understand the market's going to go down and we're going to test 405. So I spoke about these ranges that we're in, 408 to 415. Okay. We break out at 415. Yeah, we're going to like 421.22, which is another 2% higher. So again, you can get in calls as long as you let the market situate. If we break under that 408, which a lot of people do, hey, we're heading to recession, debt ceiling, 14 Fed speakers, 5 days, still have earnings. They're not going to come in. I mean, there are so many reasons to be bearish on this market. Global crisis, China, combatants with the U.S., China befriending Russia, India befriending Russia and China. There's just so much going on. Okay, so what other stocks I want to talk about this week on my list? I've got Starbucks. I saw some intense buying Starbucks on Friday. So understand Starbucks could run up to where they were earnings, which would be what, about 114. So if Starbucks is bullish, I'm saying 114. If Starbucks is bearish, where can we go to? Downside 102, 103, 103.80. So again, more upside potential Starbucks. So that's why I have it on there, because give me a bullish market, I will ride Starbucks up. Then I've got the SPY. I've got energy. Why? I happen to like, they've been selling the shit out of energy. You can see it right there, that side. Okay. But we're seeing bottoming. I grabbed some XLE shares, options at 78. I wrote it up to 79, got rid of that. But XLE is a great play. Energy, recession, China concerns will all push oil and energy down. However, we need oil and energy to survive as a country, as a global civilization. So it's not disappearing. So what do? I look for the bounce. I look for head and shoulders on the XLE. It's one of the easier trades. There's always good volume on XLE options. They always go out till Friday, or you can go out longer. So I really like looking at the XLE. Then I've got the Qs. Why? Because I mentioned the Qs were showing some support at 325, up as high as 326 and change this morning. They were selling that number. What do we do when we get to the Qs? We go down. We pull up Discord, and we say, okay, where can the Qs bounce off of? Well, shit, let me go right back here. I have it right here. Different levels, 324.56. So if I'm going to find support, and if it drops past there, the next level down is a whole, 2 points. 1.6 points, which is what? 0.5%. So it's not like if you see it drop and you know it's going to drop more, that's how you use the support. If it breaks support, You don't say, okay, it's going to rebound and bounce higher anytime. If it breaks a support level, you look at the next level down. When you see it's 0.5% down, you go, holy shit, the Qs can go from 324.66 all the way to 322, 32, whatever that number is. So again, if you're looking for calls on Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, whatever it is, and we break below and you want to hop in, wait till you find support. Easiest thing to do. Just wait. Patience, wait, patience. Okay, so those are the Qs. After the Qs, I took out the net flow. Now what do we look at? Market net flow. What do we see? All right, here's the market net flow. So it doesn't mean the SPY. It means every single option that is out there that pertains to our market. So put premiums, they spiked from 5 million to 10 million. What happened? Call premiums dropped as the price is going on. So towards the end of the day, probably around 3:45 p.m. on Friday, we saw this drop. Now it's only dropped to this level. So what am I going to do? Wait for the first hour of trading to happen at 10:30 a.m. I'm going to look at this market net flow. If I see calls on the way up here and puts on the way down, even if it's still a positive net premium, if we're under 5, I'm going to say extremely bullish for the market. Let me flip my stance, okay? Something like that. What else would I look at? Well, I'm going to do the same thing for the SPY premiums, okay? Again, call premiums, what I'm focused on right here, lower, lower, lower. Even with the market spiking, call premiums kind of flattened out here, okay? So it doesn't tell me I should be extremely bullish going today. It's telling me, okay, sell the spike, buy the dip, we're doing a head and shoulders. Again, the cost for the premiums for the puts are still above zero, extremely high. So it's still an extremely bearish market. According to this, I looked at the GEX levels. So yeah, we can be pulled back to 412. This can act as a magnet if we break the 412, possibly 411. Again, I have to give the market at least, a good hour to start today before I look at that. Again, somebody else looking at the dark pool levels. So that's just how we use Discord. Oh, this is the greatest thing, how I actually wanted to share, because I don't know if everybody else notices this. For Discord, you guys hearing music? I'm totally hearing music. Sounds like rock and roll, Carlos. So here. Yeah, now I hear it really good. It's really strong. Here we go. So there are totally lessons that Romeo puts up, B-Finger puts up, how to improve chart lessons. Oh, shit. Video lessons, too. My point is, not only are we trying to make you a better trader, but if you're a part of our Discord, and maybe some of you are, you should be using these, reading up price and volume. If you don't understand what you're doing in the market, it's like going and playing a sport without taking a lesson or understand how to score or anything like that. There are video lessons dropped by Love, dropped by Romeo, sent over from YouTube. There are certain books, strategies, candlesticks. I mean, you guys, you got to learn how to use these, and guys and girls, learn how to use the technical analysis. It's here. It's all free. So I understand some Discords just point you in a direction. Hey, we're doing an alert, something like that. Giving you the tools to make you a better trader. That's simple as that. All right, so let's get into it. Market prediction for today. Let's get into it. Why not pull up the chart? So let's pull up the SPY chart and see what we got. I still have this on the screen. Let me get rid of that. SPY chart. Here we go. Boom. All right, we'll add it to the stream. All right, let me get rid of this question here, man. All right, let's get rid of the advertisement there. Again, free service, TradingView. Anybody can use this. I look pre-market. Okay, we haven't dropped to the 412 number. So again, if we pull back, I'm saying to myself, well, we had 411.59 was a dark pool level. Wow, 411.62 is right where we closed at. So again, I'm going to look at that for support. I'm going to look at 412.78, huge dark pool level, to see if we reject that. If we go past 412.78, understand the next dark pool level is 414, I think 11 or 414.14. So that's not a surprise to me if we go up and we're bullish. And Friday, Thursday, we kept rejecting 413.50, 413.70 something, right? Then you go back to last week and it was the same numbers that we rejected. You're going back to last week, we rejected right in here. 414.72. That was Wednesday. On Tuesday, where was Tuesday? Bump, bump, bump. All right, Tuesday with a high was 414.82. So again, these have been rejection. You could see the huge red bars here. Again, when we get to those levels, huge red bar, small wick at the top telling you the market's going down. Again, wick here, down here, big green bar telling you it's going up. So vice versa. Again, we're range trading. So again, if you missed me in the beginning, this is called a board market. A board market means you're range trading. We're not in a bull market. We're not in a bear market. We're in a board market. And so many of you on Discord, especially those in Trader Chat, are like, dude, today is like watching paint dry. So yes. All right. Back to what can happen today. Okay. So we're going to go back and I'm going to use my chart here and I'm going to look at different ranges. Okay. So ranges for last week, 409 to 413, 4-point range on the SPY. Let's bring down the chart for a second just so you guys can focus on what I'm doing. All right. Friday, 4-point range on the SPY. Thursday, 412 and change top, 409 bottom, 3.5-point range. Wednesday, what do we do? Top 413, 408, 5-point range. Tuesday and Monday, as we were leading to Wednesday's decision, very small range trading, 413 to 411, 2 points, and Tuesday was 2 points. So I say to myself, okay, well, 2 points is a little too narrow. We are going to range trade. So I would say, okay, let me go with that 4.5 point estimate today. So I say to myself, okay, focus on the high points and the low points of the SPY. If we see it reject at 413 flat, then I say we're going to see 409. So if you see the rejection at 413, then we're meandering around 412, 412, 412. Understand we rejected 413. If we're not going to break 413, then we're going to see 409. That makes me a bear. If we see something like bounce off 410, which we saw on Friday and day before, I think Friday actually went a little lower. But let's say we go down this morning and there's downward pressure and we find support at 410. And remember, the dark pool level is 409.99. Find support at 410, find volume increase. If 410 is the bottom side, and then I say, okay, 410, 409.90 is the bottom side. Let's say 4 points higher is 414 on the top side. So we're probably going to touch 414, even if it's a lighter day, 3.5 points, 413.50. So it would make sense. So I say to myself, bouncing off 410 would make sense to close at 413. Remember, we've closed around the same range every day. It was like 412.75, 411.60, 412.43, 411.95. So we're always closing in the same range. Again, board market. What other stocks am I looking at today? Well, I did find 2 interesting stocks on here. Oh, good. My trade's up. Just like to look at my stock, of course. I heard Disney's. I won't talk about Disney because I don't have enough information on there. Rivian's still a little negative. I would follow Tesla. If Tesla looks like it has support, Rivian can bounce higher back to the 14 level. So I think Rivian's going to trade in between like $12.32 and maybe $13.60 something. So again, it's $12.67 now. I would wait to find support on that one. Again, it's been selling off for a few days. Shopify, again, negative. It's consolidating after a huge rise like this. So any stock you see with a huge bounce like this, and I pointed them out last week, Riot bounced. Shopify bounced. What other stocks did we short last week? Zoom had a bounce. Maybe that was 2 weeks ago. Palantir had that bounce to 10, right? Palantir, what did it do? 3 straight days of buying on earnings, 2 straight days of selling, very light volume. What happened this morning? Well, it's down probably like what? 2.5%. SoFi, I stay away. Okay, Carvana, interesting. Again, you're going to see the same freaking chart. Earnings, pop. What do they do after earnings? Lighter volume, selling. That means it consolidates. So anytime you see a company pop on earnings and then you see volume start to dissipate a little, you could say, okay, they're going to start selling it. Let's look at Google because I think Google falls into that category. That's why I was hearing people talk about a possible 3 or 4% pullback. That would still only be 110. Okay, Google, what do you see? Same thing. 3 massive days of buying. So understand when there is outflow in Google, even if it's 2 lighter days in Google, like we saw for any of the companies I just showed you, it's going to consolidate. So that's why some people can take a bearish position in Google. I'm looking at Apple. What do I see when I see Apple? Okay. Again, decent spike. Kathy thinks it's overvalued. The outflow, however, it's not really contracting down to the earnings level of 166. We're still above 172. 170 has been kind of support. So again, I watch Apple on a daily basis. I watch the banks, PacWest and Western Alliance. Why? Because if these banks drop out of oblivion, then it's telling you the banking crisis isn't done. The market will get hit hard. So again, that's on my watch list. And then you're telling me, Matt, you said only have 25 stocks on your watch list. Dude, I'm a math guy. I'm a numbers guy. I see these patterns form. Okay, here's a D-Dog pattern, okay? So again, D-Dog, what do you see? 8 straight buys of buying, right? It was at $64, at $79. It took me from $64 to $79 before I said, holy shit, they're buying D-Dog. At the same time they were buying D-Dog, they were selling net. Remember, we had puts on net. So D-Dog was going up. Net Cloudflare was going down. Now Cloudflare bounced at what, $40, $41, probably back at 46, bounce 15% higher. So again, I'm going to wait when they start selling D-Dog and there's a rotation. Speaking of rotations, I'm watching AMD and NVIDIA because I heard about a possible rotation. Same thing with oil, possible rotation out of oil. That's why you saw energy and oil get hit last week. People are fearful about recession, about China's numbers, et cetera, et cetera. But I've got AMD. I've got Pinterest. I don't trade Pinterest anymore. What am I going to do? Delete it. Snapchat, piece of shit company. I don't want to trade it $8.55. At $10, $11, it was a good sell. At $7, a good buy. At $8.50, I don't follow it long enough. Netflix I have up there, although I'm not trading it. And I mentioned Cloudflare. All right, so here's what you saw in Cloudflare. All right, it had that huge buying on the dip. I said it's going lower. It went lower. It finally found some support for 5 straight days. It's going to consolidate a little, which means when it consolidates, it's going to consolidate anywhere between $48 and $46. So there's probably due for a pullback, but it can go higher. If it goes to 52 first and then pulls back and consolidates to 49, that's why I won't play this. On one day of outflow being Friday, which is a tough day in the market when they're buying net, I'm going to assume they're going to continue to keep buying NET, Cloudflare, and D-Dog because they do each and every day. Roku, I really haven't traded in a while. I'm going to remove that, delete. General Motors, I made a trade on that. That's range trading between 31 and 34. I haven't made money. Going to remove that. I've got AI, right? CAI. I've got it up there. But however, when I look at AI, which is trading between like 17 and it was high as $28 and then has a range of 23. Unfortunately, the options premium on that is too expensive for me. And the spreads between the bid and the ask are too wide. So what am I going to do? I'm going to keep AI on here, but I don't trade AI. Why? Because it's too expensive. Okay, I've got Alibaba. Alibaba is interesting. We still have a bunch of companies that have earnings later on this week. So when you look, oh, thank goodness it worked out. What are they doing? Oh, here we go. Last 2 weeks, they're loading into Alibaba. What do you see? It bottomed. It pulled back. So, I mean, is it terrible on a pullback? Might get into Alibaba at $82, $82.50. 85 is too expensive. They do have earnings later in the week. So, I mean, yeah, Alibaba could run. Again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 out of the last 12 days have been inflow. And volume is increasing. So let's just cover inflow versus outflow. A stock can go down, all right, and be in demand. A stock can go higher and have outflow. Here's how it goes. If I own 100 shares of Tesla and I sell it at the bid, okay, I'm getting rid of it. That's outflow. I'm selling it at a bid. If I put down 100 shares of Tesla and I have an ask and somebody comes along and pays my ask, then that's inflow because it's in demand. They're paying my price. If I'm selling at your price that you want to buy with, that's outflow. If you're paying the price that I want to sell at, that's inflow. So again, you can understand stocks can go higher and have outflow. Stocks can go lower and have inflow. Stock is getting ripped on. It's going down, down, down. But you're like, huge big green candle. How is that possible? Because someone's saying, I'm buying. I'm a long-term investor. I'm sticking it in my pocket. I'm sticking it here. Give me more, give me more, give me more. And it can still go lower. I've seen stocks that have massive inflow. And then what do? 2 days later, drop even further down. So it doesn't mean just because you have inflow, you're doing okay. I'm paying attention to Amazon. Why? Because Amazon had somewhat little of a pullback on Friday. If the Qs are bullish, if we see 330 on the Qs, understand, I think Amazon is set to pop. And where could you get a pop? Maybe about an 8% pop. If you're trading options, that could turn into like 100% based on the options you're trading. With that said, it's past 9 a.m. If you like what I do, thumbs up. Join me tomorrow, Tuesday morning, 8:30 a.m. And everybody's welcome to follow me over to Discord. Hopefully, Romeo is doing some live trading today. Again, I'm going to drop a video with 1 or 2 plays that I'm looking at. Mention the SPY ranges specifically, and then we'll go from there and have a great day. Be safe, everybody. Remember, light volume days, secure profit time.